हे गाइस वेलकम बैक टू द चैनल। थोड़ा लेट हो गया मैं लाइव आने पे, तो आज के लिए मेरे को थोड़ा माफ करना, थोड़ा काम से बाहर था मैं, इसीलिए। तो पहला मैच तो हो गया रोंडो का। ईए ने, मैं देखा अभी जस्ट, ईए ने चिकन निकाला है। तो आज अपना स्ट्रीम बूम बम करते अच्छे खासे से, मस्त ही मेरे को सपोर्ट देने का। टीआर को चाहिए भाई, मेरे को चाहिए टीआर को, कि टीआर अपना जाए, क्वालिफाई करे टीआर। ठीक है, मेरे को चाहिए टीआर का, कि ऐसा टीआर का होना चाहिए भाई। होना मतलब होना चाहिए। और मेरे को पता ना आज का वॉइस कैसा आ रहा है, थोड़ा मैंने आज माइक चेंज किया, तो मेरे को पता ना वॉइस कैसा आ रहा है। अच्छा आ रहा है तो मेरे को श्योरली बोलना, ठीक है? ओके, मेरे को बोलना जरा वॉइस कैसा आ रहा है। एक मिनट ना, मैं इसको और कर देता हूँ। ऑडियो फिल्टर स्क्रीन पे आ गए अपन। मैं अपने ये ऑन कर लेता हूँ।
Dividends here in this match. We can't stress just how crazy it is for a team to get a 10 elimination chicken dinner. For one player to do that by himself is just wild, especially for the first game of Group Red match.
First game of Group Red, again, absolutely cinema being provided here. I'm really happy with some of these fights we did see in the mid-stage portion of this match. Virtus Pro, though, this was one of the most important fights, right, Neptura? Them losing that position over to E-Arena kind of locks in that chicken dinner early on this match for E-Arena.
Yeah, they really did. You have to challenge that kind of position early on, and if no one does it, or if you lose that challenge, then that just solidifies that team even more. After that, there was not really much chance of really challenging them and getting them out of that position. So EA hunkered down, held their ground, and they were able to get the win just off. But the other thing that was interesting, what are you saying?
You want to hear a crazy stat?
Go for it.
Right off the rip here. All right. Well, EA, ridiculous amount of eliminations and the chicken dinner during the gauntlet. Right, all 3 days combined, they had 74 points, guys. In their first match here in Group Red, they are going to put up 33% of that total in just one game.
Wow. I mean, you know what? I love that for them. I love that for them. Yes, because I think we were expecting so much more in the gauntlet stage with them, right? We were thinking E-Arena is going to be one of those top teams, and they just weren't. So now, coming into Group Red and seeing them put up such a performance, it's like, finally, E-Arena is back, Max.
Do you want another fun stat? Team Secret, during the entirety of their group, got 32 points. In one game, E-Arena got 27. Just saying.
27 points, chicken!
That's a mad game they just had on that one, though. Sorry, Team Secret, but probably at the airport, so they can't fight back. Whatever. Anyway, Team Secret, some really good performance here. Able to survive against the likes of Regnum. Schools also really good hold on that southern position, low ground position. Really happy with their performance. And Bernie Schools actually way more silent than I would have liked to see coming out from this team. They had opportunities to maybe third-party your Regnums versus Influence Rage, or even that fight to the west versus Flash and Wayburn at some point, but no, they stayed very passive, and that scares me a little bit, because passive, would it be enough for you to be in top 3? Not quite, so I want to see more presence from this team eventually.
I mean, they are generally a more compact team, so it's a little bit, but I don't hate it for the first game, right? Especially still a little bit unsure about how Lobby is really going to be playing that. So I don't hate it for the first game, but yeah, we definitely need to see a little bit of a step up and more proactiveness coming through from them later on in today's matches. But your MVP of Rondo is going to be Sakura. We knew it was going to be Sakura. Come on now, 11 eliminations. No one did that. There's just no beating this guy in this map, at least.
Yeah, we're probably not going to see that for the rest of the Group Red, to be honest. I mean, that's just a crazy day, you know? So, I mean, for him to bust that out in game number 1 is going to be so hype for EA. Like, I did the official math, it's 36% of their total points from the gauntlet in just one game here.
Wow.
We just really hope this is not a flash in the pan, you know, moment. We want to see this just rocket launch this squad, you know, and kind of have that little alpha gaming presence, right? That big improvement from gauntlet to here, and that's the advantage, right? If you're in the gauntlet, you get a little bit more time under your belt to come in strong. They understand how important Rondo is here.
कैसे यार 11 chicken और almost 1500 का damage.
In particular, we didn't highlight just yet.
Fuck भाई, almost 1500 का damage.
Some people might look at this game and think, oh, that road dip It's not really a great position, but you can make it a great position with, guess what? Emergency
Almost
cover
damage
flares in that position, and they were holding it for so long this game. I was really happy about it. The main issue was of course, Sakura on top of that rock mountain. That was going to be an issue, but outside of that, Alliance for me had a great macro game positionally speaking, so it gets me excited to see what their rotations will look like going into the other
11 finishes, 11 finishes.
Yeah, for sure. The other team that I was actually
Crazy,
really
भाई,
impressed with,
crazy
they were
एकदम
setting themselves
बहुत
up
अलग
to
epic खेल रही है देखते हैं अभी
west
पूरे
side.
तीनों
It
टीम में
was
क्या होता है
really split across the mid
अरे
stage.
WBG का तो
They
देखो
split
कितने
down,
भी
and
फिनिश
then
करो
they had a really quick regroup, and we're trying to third party the Flash WBG fight as well. And I really liked how mobile they were. They were surrounding that fight. They were trying to get all the best angles. They seemed like macro-wise, they seemed like a really switched on. They were really doing a great job there. So I'm excited for them as well in the next round.
Yeah, I think
कितना है अपना 3 इरांगल और 2 मिरामार बाकी है
max, right? But not tall enough.
चलेगा गाइस चलेगा अपने पास 5 मैच है अभी और 5 मैच है 5 मैच है
That nade, right? By the way,
5 मैच है अभी
so sick. I mean,
और
from
5
the
मैच
high
है
ground, rocket launching it all the way down, he laced it, and then he had an earlier one, right, where he got those. He wiped out Virtus Pro. All 3 players with 1 nade from that high ground position. So that is just crazy to see. But you know what other good fight that we saw, Max, right? Was between Flash and Weibo, right? That was a pretty interesting fight. It was going back and forth for a good minute. We saw Top with a really good nade onto 2 of their players, but then he ended up pushing it out by himself, got knocked eventually. But it's good to see Weibo, with a good fight at the start here.
I really respected the approach actually from Flash, trying to leapfrog the position in the compound itself against Weibo. That was a really good idea. Then it got a little bit messy, I would say. It was a very good idea at first, but then it got down to like some 1v1 fights, some 1v2s. It was a little bit all over the place. And I actually did really respect what Arcred were trying to pull off, which is third party, just play north, play south, try and get a little bit of that conversation. But Win, unfortunately, had the final word there in that final. He was able to survive the entire compound.
Messy, because we did see that Flash went all in and then immediately stepped back, and I almost want to say that these cover flares on the to actually kind of bait WBG
next match से start करेंगे TR का next match से
push them out a little bit into a more compromised position, and then they were able to soon as Weibo pushed out, it got really messy really quickly. If it hadn't been for Arcred, I think Flash would have won that more decisively. So I kind of want to give them the benefit of the doubt there just a little bit, but otherwise, yeah, it was a really interesting fight. I might want to go back to the
I do think you highlight a very good point, because we saw the Flash took some heavy casualties really quickly in that fight with Weibo, and they just started to play a bit more passive, and I think that actually that utility bring up is very important. Those cover flares kind of forcing Weibo in a full sense of security, like they were in control of that fight, but actually no, they were never in control, and then Arcred even tries to get involved in that fight and kind of ruins it. So yeah, it was very smart play from both teams, but at the end just one player comes out.
Hey guys, जो भी chat में है वो लोग like and subscribe करें फटाफट मैं बस 1 मिनट देख रहा हूँ जो भी chat में है वो लोग like and subscribe करें फटाफट
tournament like this, you get the, I like to call it the hot jukes excuse card. I'll give a little punch for it. All right, you got to get warmed up.
Voice कैसा आ रहा है कोई chat में बोल सकता है मेरे को कोई है अगर chat में तो मेरे को बोल
use that. That's for sure. They went out crazy, but you know what it is for the first game, and we're going into Erangel here now. That excuse card is over. Okay, looking at some of the potential drops that we have, Max. Right, I am looking here. I don't think there's a big chance we're going to see one. One that could be interesting, though, at least in my eyes, is that Primorsk and Yasnaya area, right? There's a good chance that we're going to see for Flash and Influence range. So both their main and backup spots are pretty much in the same spot here. I think that could make things interesting.
It could. I mean, if it goes in Yasnaya Polyana, Yasnaya, as we all know, big enough city, right? Hot jukes for 2 teams to coexist. If you don't have too big an ego and you're willing to share, then it shouldn't be an issue. But Primorsk, I mean, if you're a Primorsk hot drop, you can't share Primorsk. I know we drop Primorsk quite a bit in our Ultimate Royale games. If there's a team there, 99% of the time, it is going to be a hot drop. So if you do go for a fight there, I think it is going to be resulting in one team getting instantly squad wiped in that position.
Yeah, I think it's really got to be. There's just not enough room, and often just the loot, you can't get the loot you need fast enough when it comes to how small it is, right? So I would think Influence Rage probably, if they do think that they're going to get Hot Drop there, that you see a third location here, Quarry. They'd probably do it to split here normally, but if Flash is going to try and Hot Drop them, just go to Quarry and do a Quarry split, and they should be fine.
Should be fine indeed. Well, you know what, man? I want to hear from the Obi-Wan Kenobi of the last match, right? He had the high ground, right? Sakura. So I know we're about to hear from him and the 7WG. They're getting that ready. So, man, crazy game. To hear from the 7WG and Sakura.
Welcome to a quick report with the 7WG. I'm joined by Sakura from EA. They just had an stellar performance. I want to pick your brain a little bit. What was the biggest change that you guys made from the Gauntlet here to Group Red?
อะไรคือการเปลี่ยนแปลงที่ใหญ่ที่สุดจากรอบก่อนเล็ดมารอบกลุ่มเวนแดงก็พยายามเล่นให้ใจเย็นกว่าเดิมครับเพราะว่ารอบการเล่นที่เราเล่นคือเราเล่นรีบร้อนไปหน่อยครับทำให้เสียง่ายครับ So we tried to play more calm because in the gauntlet stage we rushed our timing too much and made us die easily.
Well, that makes sense. You guys played it out perfectly too, and making sure that you cleared the North of Alliance. Some little quick stats for you guys. In the gauntlet, this team was averaging about a 10th place to 2 to 3 ilms today. First place, 17 ilms. Now, looking around here in this group, Red, is there any team that you're looking at that maybe is going to cause you some trouble throughout the days?
ในกลุ่มแดงกลุ่มนี้คิดว่ามีทีมไหนไหมที่อาจจะเป็นปัญหาให้ทีมเราก็ตอนนี้ยังไม่มีครับ Right now we have no teams that are going to be a problem for us.
All right, well, hey, right now 11 ilms to you. Great performance. This is not looking like a 16th place team. I can't wait to see what they're going to be doing for the rest of the day.
Yeah, that's a fact. Goodness gracious, right? I love that shout too, right? Saying that, you know what, we were rushing our timing just a little bit too much. And that's where, I mean, we talk about it all the time, just how imperative these nerves are to these players. You know, you're at such a big stage. You've worked all year to get here. You're not in the comfort of your own house anymore, Neptura, right? So it's understandable why some of these teams will be a little bit quick to jump the gun on certain decisions. I'm glad that they realized that and calm things down here. It definitely worked, that's for sure, for match number 1.
It sure did, right? Yeah, it's interesting because looking over my notes, you know, you go that E-Arena are actually really instant to rotate. They always are ahead of the zone when it comes to those zone shifts and trying to rotate as quickly as possible. So it's interesting that they say they're rushing, because if you're rushing instant rotates, you are really, really quick. So it is nice that they've adapted to the lobby, especially these teams. You know, they've done their research, figured out what they want to do, and just slowed it right down. And that, yeah, like you said, I mean, they slowed it right down to the point of having one singular position basically the whole match, and it really, really worked.
I like during the interviews, like, oh, we just played calm, a little bit slower. I'm like, bro, you just got a 17 elimination chicken dinner. What's slow about that? what's calm about that? I think he's just a humble king, Hodrick. Just a humble king. He's like, don't worry, we'll make it fine. But actually, we're the best team in the lobby, and right now they proved it. They're the kings of Rondo because, well, you only have one Rondo per day. Because now it's a wrangle coming up. Let's go.
Let's get it going to the grassy pastures. Let's get match number 2 started. It's Aaron Gale, John Allen, Blank. Are we going to see another player get double-digit eliminations today?
I mean, today? I don't think we'll see it for the rest of the tournament. We'll probably won't see it for the rest of the year, Blank. I'll go as far as that. That was something special from Sakura, assisted by the rest of E-Arena and a little bit by the Circle. But beautiful stuff nonetheless to kick things off. A massive lead earned by E-Arena very early on. And they'll need it. Moving in, there'll be plenty of teams looking to take that top spot from the plate path from the west coast down towards Novo. Blank a little bit hard on the south side.
Yeah, it's very, very difficult.
Next match में आ जाते हैं अपन.
On the south side.
So obviously there was थोड़ा setting कर रहा था.
Primos there in terms of the drop on that side with the flash as well as the influence rage. There's a chance that influence rage just picks up quarry, which would make sense as well. Instead of going far down towards Primorsk, I am curious to see where the flash do end up though. But in the meantime, going to go for the very.
आवाज आ रही है मतलब ठीक से आवाज आ रहा है.
Primorski going to be just
Clear,
dropping a little bit short to split around that quarry area to grab those vehicles. For influence range, get them on the road nice and fast. The circle itself. It's like Team Flash, they're currently out towards Potato Hill, just heading over farm. And we are going west with the circle, so maybe they wish they would have gone back to that southwest side, but the access there for influence rage up the west coast will be nice and quick. A lot of teams out onto the military island as well. 3 currently taking up residence. We've got Burmese Ghouls as well as VP and EK all on the island.
Do you know what I always find very interesting is that you finish Group Green and you come into Group Red. Now, if you're a melee-based team, it's a weird one, right? Where if you're Burmese Ghouls, you're trying to think to yourself whether it's a good idea to continue playing this drop spot or try and figure out somewhere else to play. Because even if you do make it into the grand finals, you're fighting for your drop spot between you and arguably the best team in the lobby right now. Right? What will be arguably the best team in Alpha Gaming. So do you think about changing your drop spot, or do you just play things out for the time being and then figure that out when you get into grand finals, and right now just try and get into the top 3 from this position?
I mean, that's a big win, right?
I know, right? It really is.
It needs you to qualify towards those grand finals, because they won't be in last chance, remember? So that contest won't be there if you're able to get to that last chance stage, which will be potentially interesting. So maybe that's what they're relying on, and finals is sort of like the gravy on the meal for them, if they're able to get there. Not to say that they're not capable of it. I think, all things considered, there are more likely candidates right now. Certainly candidates that people would say are more favourite to be getting through in the spots that we have available here and in that last chance stage. It'll be a difficult road to run. So for now, I think focus on what you can do, what you know. If what you know best is that military base area, go for it. But I don't think you need to worry too much about that.
Yeah.
For now.
A little PSA for everyone watching. For Twisted Minds, if you weren't aware, 4YDO is pronounced Chudo. So if you hear me talk about Chudo, it's that guy. So I know that's thrown me off before, about 2 years ago. So hopefully that helps some of you guys at home if you're not familiar with that region too much. Overall, pretty damn good team is Twisted Minds. I think they have some very good players on side. And can go very far with that team. I think that right now, I would say they play Pachinki better than the Falcons do, personally.
Okay. Well, I mean, what we've discovered about how the Falcons play Pachinki is get out of there as fast as you can or don't play it at all. It works better for them. So you might be right on that one.
PK down towards the southeast side. In Urugnoya. Bit of a journey up towards the north, but should be okay. They are cut off by quite a few teams. That's purely because of the plane path, which cuts down towards the southeast. With True Rippers playing in Milton, which I think is a pretty damn good spot to start from. It gives you a lot of options. On this circle, it's not so great, obviously, because you do have to move off the west and pass through farm. But I imagine Alliance will leave at some point to try and get that crossing. Boars moved early off of Ferry Pier towards the north side around Geka.
Trying to get in towards the center here. I mean, we've seen quite a lot of circles end up towards Everest, around those Gatka fields, right? Back in Gauntlet, and I think quite a bit into Group Green as well. Looks like Group Red will have their fair share. Are we going to get more Everest finishes? Is anyone actually going to go up to the top of Everest? And is anyone going to go to the compound that, certainly for a match or two, nobody seemed to want to go to on that south point of Everest, overlooking those Gatka fields? Right now, looks like Regnum Kai are looking to go up the mountain. Twisted Minds, they transition from Pachinki to a compound a little bit further along the way. We'll see where everyone else pulls up as well.
Yeah, again, this is what I love, because I think if you watch Team Falcons, they would have played Church. It would have 100% played church on this circle, and it would have been slow to the center. I think the Twisted Minds just have a better understanding of how to take advantage of this central position. I like it. I like it a lot. They're playing a little bit of a lineup right now, which cuts out teams coming through from Ruins. So it's a good split. Weibo coming in from the north side. That's from North George, just heading over the top of Everest at the moment. But we do have a lot of teams already fairly central on this one. Teams who did get cut out by the plane early have yet to move. And fair enough to them, because it's a long journey in. It's likely you're going to be playing Edge for a while. So that's teams like True Rippers, Burmese Ghouls, Geekay, Virtus Pro as well, all the way towards Lipovka.
Yeah, I think you've got Nuclear Zone as well. Rather aptly playing it towards Mill to Power. Big fan of that thematic naming, thematic drop spot. Coming through on the Egypt points qualification. Big pickup for them. I'm already a fan. I want them to win the whole thing.
You do? Because they're dropping him Mill-to-Power?
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. You know, I'm a sucker for it. What can I say? ETSH, they found win. He was the lone survivor of the fight in the fight. Could just be. Hopefully not that. But in the last game, that's some off chicken dinners there. But he was the only one to be able to get out of that scrap we saw in the last match. But we'll go down first this time. I know.
The lone survivor, you say. Must have been pretty deadly, right?
He's been sat in the casting booth with you before.
What the hell? The hell? That's crazy talk.
No, you're very clean.
Everyone knows I'm incapable of. Over towards the western side, we've got Irina from last game, who were not silent, but they were deadly over on that top side. Now looking over to the east, it's a bit of a more difficult run out for them. They got Influence Rage in front of them, trying to get a little bit of revenge the last game, feel some vindication from that hold that they had. I think the only thing that concerned me in that last game was Tony K's angle and the time which he was peaking. I was looking back on it just on the feed, and I think that the reason he's doing that is to prevent any runouts coming through from Influence Rage. And that's the only reason I can think he would go for that. But again, they were fairly locked in. I suppose you can't play too passive. So he does his job. He did make it slightly more difficult, though. And I think maybe you could have backed off the angle a little bit quicker, because you only have to do like short bursts of fire. It depends how accurate Influence Rage is there. But I'm really going into very much specifics there. So I don't think there was too much that bothered me from Irina's gameplay last game. I want to see them do something similar again. You've got a lot of momentum coming off from the back of that rondo. It's time to put that to good use.
Absolutely. It's a tool in your arsenal, and you need to be able to utilize everything at your disposal. So hopefully they can use, as you say, that momentum. Influence Rage, I mean, they have a little bit of momentum coming into this one. Everyone over 10 points on that last match will probably, well, hopefully have a little bit of momentum, right? And Alliance, we'll see if they can keep things going on their 11-point spree in that last game. And, get a little bit further. They're on the southwest side of that Gatka field, and we'll see what they can do. Geekay currently fueling up at the petrol station, making sure the cars aren't topped up from the gas prices. Well, there's no attendance, so it's free. That's not normally what you're allowed to do, but here in PUBG Mobile, no one's going to stop you.
And great shots from Easy for Bad Boy there over towards the back line. Voston's going to try and back up there and chasing him down, barking at him. And he will continue to be a nuisance, though. He's not leaving fully. I'm coming back. I'm coming back for more.
Okay. No, there's no one in there. Easy for Bad Boy. You don't. It's fine. There's no one in the smokes. They've actually moved them entirely. But I mean, that's the back off that Voston was able to do, right? Maybe they do think that there's players still down in those smokes, and they're putting a lot of pressure out there. They moved the target, and now they can get some healing and get away free. So for Voston, I mean, you might have been a yappy little dog, like a little terrier, going at it, but it's come up well. It's looking good for them. On the south side, Geekay, they leave the petrol station. They're moving past Quarry now. The nuclear zone there in tow, just behind it a little bit on that south side.
Rotate's looking really good, honestly, in Group Red. It's a very, very quiet game so far. And I think that's because teams have been very effectively able to cut out a lot of squads coming their way. Look at the split on this circle as well. Honestly, that's beautiful. That is beautiful. I love to see that. Everyone's got their own space. Everyone's taking their own splits, trying to maintain presence. That's a gorgeous zone. I don't see that very often.
Yeah, it's all the way out to the west. Everybody who took that really nice disparate split over on the east side, they're going to have to crunch in, cram in as best they can. Sending the population out west side, past Gatka, towards the swamp as well, the fields to the north. Really tricky terrain to play around with. Influence Rage playing in the U-bend right now, off the road. And seeing if they can hold off on those banks, those terrain ridge lines that cover off towards that north side. A little bit of surround there. IZANA, I mean, they love that high ground, so you're not going to get him off there anytime soon. Over towards Geeke. There's that momentum. There's another Elim. Second of the match.
Yeah, I mean, they're going. I'm trying to get more done. Tony K finding Ragnarok from Geeke as well. Into the second there. Some more shots. A little bit more wild from Tony K, but still looking up towards Kevin. I mean, does have a bit of a kick on it there with the 3x and the silencer on board. Bit tough to make happen. NC2 though will get out of there. Is it NC squared or is it NC2? What do you think?
NC2. I'll go on NC2. Because if it was MC2, then maybe it would be MC squared, right? But nah.
Yeah, that would be cool.
You haven't. The N hasn't earned it. You know, hasn't got the rep.
Yeah, if you put two N's close enough together, though, maybe you go to MC squared.
That is how that works. I'm pretty sure. Burmese Cools take a shot out towards Virtus Pro on the south side. Both trying to rotate in, past Twisted Minds on that south edge as well, in these hills, down towards the roadside. There's really nothing that is going to be safe for the time being. Virtus Pro, they're not getting their teammate back up, but can they keep everyone else alive? Can they stay up as three? Because their record is very low.
I mean, Virtus Pro's had some tough rotates so far. They keep running into squads and can't quite find a place to stay. Again, I do genuinely think this has been some really nice play from every single team in terms of rotations. We even just like this zone in particular, it's very hard to keep 16 players in it, 16 squads in it. Yet we're doing it. Like there's fields off towards the east, there's fields on the north, there's fields on the north, on the west. There is this strip of land down towards the south side, and we have 16 teams at this stage of the game. It's unheard of. It's very nice to see. Honest. It's not exciting, but it is beautiful.
Oh, that field. Towards the Regnum Kaya central area. IZANA going to have to give up the hold on the west side. They've been holding about a kilometer stretch of road on that west side blank for the longest time. And they are now going to have to regroup probably towards Tony K, towards that south edge, but maybe a little bit closer. It's a very field heavy ending though on this one. We are taking up the majority of the land with that field.
Yeah, I mean, there is not a lot of area to play here. I sometimes think that like the land here sort of looks like America, like this field. Look at the same shape as the landmass. No.
No.
See what I'm saying? No. Maybe you don't feel it.
No. No, not at all, actually.
Wait, what are you going to say to this?
Stop this, you. It's the wrong way around, first of all. It's reflected. But let's crack on with the game. Because we've got Arcret trying to roll up the Weibo, who have Regnum Kaya even further beyond this one. And you know that this central hill is going to be a major feature of this zone, and the fact that Weibo have the top of it when Regnum Kaya were there much earlier is nice for them, but there is that counterpoint to it. Maybe they're more content with that north side.
Yeah, if you Regnum Kaya, actually this is like a bit of it's a more smart maneuver in my opinion, is that you're sort of playing with Weibo as opposed to against them. It's a little bit underhanded in terms of the way you're playing it out, where any team that comes into this small valley between them is going to feel the force of both squads. And you essentially put yourself in a stalemate to live further into this game. I personally prefer Regnum Kaya's position as well, because everyone's going to want to crash onto Weibo. Right? No one really wants to crash Regnum Kaya.
No, it's it is a little bit tough, right? It's maybe not the best idea, but I think crashing anyone is still a bad idea. Like it is going to go poorly for you.
I mean, you have to crash
when you have to make that choice. Yeah, sure. That's probably where we're going to find it.
Because you can isolate fights there in terms of sightlines. Like that's one of the few positions on the map where you can isolate sightlines and get it into a proper 1v1. But with Regnum Kaya being here, it's just so difficult because you can't play on the ridge side to the west. Like you have to full commit. It is interesting the way they've set it up, and basically this means that Arcred, Weibo, and Regnum Kaya are likely just going to be like, well, guess we're all staying here until stage 7 or 8.
Yeah, I mean, you've got the spot, you don't want to give it up. They're really holding each other at arm's length, but True Rippers trying to deliver on that gunfire promise coming on through. They are doing a lot. Twisted Minds really suffering. Burmese Ghouls with a little assist on the outside, and True Rippers may be able to stay alive as 3, but Burmese Ghouls going to try and roll over the top as well, or maybe just get ahead of the fight entirely. But Lord, I didn't even see him there, but was he inside the hovercraft the whole time? Oh no, Alliance now with the last player of True Rippers, Jelly, causing problems as he rides up towards the top. But against Alliance, against all 4 of them, I don't think so.
No, it's not happening. I mean, that's a horrible fight. It was going to pop up at some point. You have to third party here if you want to maintain a position. Influence Rage, Stonks just went through the roof right now on that position towards the swamp.
Oh yeah, that is going to get busy on that north side. But I mean, holding it all at this stage might be too much, and actually Geeke gonna sidle on into the west side of that swamp position, so they'll be sharing it. The first crash onto the center's going, and it is towards Arcred and Weibo, coming through from Team Flashblank, looking for that central field hill towards that tornado siren.
I mean, this is not cool, man. It's not cool. These 3 guys, they held this first. All right? You stop bullying my 12-man team. You get back.
Uh-oh. There we go. Oh, boy. Softened up a little bit there. Does go down. Tops is the trade-off, though, for it. And Team Flash, they still have a player out towards the north side. So it is basically just Zeus in that middle spot. Not really too much to do. Moving over. Wants to get that res and needs the backup in the area. Regnum Kaya, actually, they break the piece of course. Blank.
Yeah, that's uncool. Yeah, that's uncool. That's really uncool. Oh, no. This is even more uncool. All right, we could have all won. We could have all won together.
Oh, top 3, not to be, baby. ETSH as well. They're across the field and they're eyeing this up too. Blank, maybe a 5-team hold on the central tornado siren.
Oh, bro, is this my 15-man team? Yes, please. All right.
Oh dear.
Okay. Regnum Kaya starts to sling the grenades, and I mean those are brutal.
And another for Silas. Nade over the top. Zed Wolf polished off the knock with a spray down, and that is big. Another nade coming through. Oh no! Weibo, they're getting catastrophically bombarded here around the tower. The Souk now the last to stand, desperately clinging on. Everybody else seemingly unscathed. I mean, they had that little scrap on the south edge, the regroup from Team Flash. Boars, they're trying to approach. Everybody wants to get in towards the tornado siren. They hear it blaring. I think the back tires on that monster truck might have been out, but they're still going to make it work. Bose moves on in for the spray, but has to descend and stay alive for a little bit longer.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. This is all Regnum Kaya's fault. All right. If only they could just be a little bit friendlier, maybe this wouldn't have happened. I was thinking they do waste grenades by throwing those over towards Weibo. There was no full commit, and they weren't going to full commit over the top either towards Arcred, so Yeah, you get a couple of knocks. I think potentially you ruin the utility side of things. Good nade from Snowix. That's a bit of French passion right there.
Sure, they'll be happy with that. Spores are trying to move in and take the position that Team Flash moved in towards, but that is a big nade over towards the back and a little bit of a response. Moves him into a bit of a pancake, but he's down in the smoke and able to bide his time. Nicely found. Oh, it's all over.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it too much, but influence rage, more like influencing the circle. Am I right, guys? As it moves down towards the south, and that's probably a free win, if I'm honest. It's a fairly easy win off the back of that one. Weibo, do get out of the way, and you can see it. Actually, the nades that were sent over the top over toward. Oh my god! Actually, it's not bad. Weibo, like, we need things. We just saw lots of things drop on the floor over here. We need them. So they're just pilfering whatever they can. All right, it's turned into a bit of an extraction. Shooter-looter.
They were getting completely bombarded out, Blank. They're almost all at full HP now. Weibo managed to put themselves back together. Ramses wants to try and change that, though, up for order. It will be hot on the spray now, up to Hero. 33Z charging forwards, trying to close the ground, force the peaks back. And he's on the guard. No chance of getting that flush. And that's another player going down. Ramses is down, and that is another box. Tidy.
Very nice. That can't be. Weibo's just getting more boxes. I like it. Yeah, I was kind of surprised they got a full reset on this one. 33Z finds another there off in the distance. Sets them up to 2 heliums total. Maybe it was maybe Regnum Kai would just keep them on their toes, you know? Right? I gotta give them...
pretending to fight so nobody else would join.
Exactly. But they had to commit to it. Otherwise, no one would have believed.
Yeah. That's very... Honestly, Silas is so smart for that, you know? Brilliant strategy coming through. Maybe that'll change though, because Silas and Loxy gonna take down. That's actually from Alliance, and now again it's just Wild and Zedwolf holding on inside the smoke of Weibo after their full reset, and their box brigade are sending on in. There's no chance that you get through, and that is a two-way takedown with Alliance and Weibo shattering Regnum Kaya.
Weibo got a taste for the boxes now. They want more boxes. Taking down Regnum Kaya, that's a big pick-off. This is a strong team. But, oh my goodness me, what a backstab coming through from Glory 22. Now just 2 players for Weibo up and remaining. Too focused on the box grind.
Hey, you know what? I didn't know it, but apparently 22 is greater than 33. It's new maths we're developing here on that northern side. And Arc Red, the progenitors. Last player going down on the outside for ETSH. They had a difficult crossing to play. IZANA, by the way, they've been slowly playing this western side. They held all of that west coast for a long time. They moved up to the compound, out to the west of this area, and now they're transitioning. And with nobody else on the north, there's a realistic possibility that there's a top 2 in it for them here.
For IZANA, they're playing Edge. I actually think Edge works really well in this particular lobby because there is so many teams willing. There's so many teams willing to play center, and honestly, I'm going to go ahead and say it is that I do think the rotations have been a little bit slicker here so far than in Group Green. I think they've been pretty magnificent to watch happen. I think IZANA is definitely benefiting from that as an Edge team because there's no one else holding them. They could just slowly sweep their way in. It's very cool.
Bad news for teams, though, towards the bottom of the table. Top 3 right now. Still very much in. DRX, I think, maybe in one of the rougher spots here, although Alliance do have to move forward, so... No, actually, I take it back. I think Alliance are in the rougher spot against DRX, who are in the next zone. They are going to have to move everybody else up. Trying to stay on the outside as long as possible. Order, strafing, spraying towards the arena. Also have to move forwards, but this blue zone's really going to hurt, and Order steps out into it to pick up big, wants some healing. Again, the arena under pressure from Soup, from Order, from everybody else from that Alliance high ground that they are still holding on.
Yeah, Arenas, they just need to withstand me. Basically, they need to withstand versus Waymo. You should get themselves a top 5 off the back of this one, but that'll be all that they'll be given with 7 points total there on the elims, not to mention the placement points as well, wrapped off the back of that one. But yeah, I think for Waymo, it's definitely a case of they got a taste for the boxes. Too much. And they got a little bit complacent with their positioning. Arena though, good smokes, slowly pushing forward here. They do need Alliance to be a little bit more aggressive though, because right now, Influence Rage can fully turn attention this way.
After that, a solid spot here. This is really big for both Influence Rage and for the Arena.
I'll send Elim.
Top 2 in that last match. Yeah, I mean, brilliant Elim count for Alliance as well. This is a big top 3 starting to form very early on. Sure, it's only 2 matches, and that volatility will potentially decrease, but I mean, Arena feeling the APG reinvigoration.
We'll wait and see. I'm pretty sure they're likely to go down in 4th place here. Very difficult for them now. I think they're out of smokes. Yes, they are out of smokes. They have 15 nades, but not Rondo. You can't create the craters here on Erangel. Jimmy just trying to provide as many smokes as possible for the rest of the team to regroup on it, but DRX is not likely to let them leave. Yeah, for Arena, it's a fully pitched fight here versus Influence Rage, and Influence Rage can hear the fighting happening behind them. They don't have to look that way, so all they need to focus on doing is holding out this tier 1 north side. Super simple game. And I think that is the main thing for Influence Rage right now, is that their game has been simple. Right? It's been nothing special. Every step of the way, it's been very clear goals that they need to hit. I think for Alliance, it's probably the more impressive game from them, right?
Yeah, fighting through on that south edge, clearing out so much and getting the Elim count they have. It's brilliant stuff. Arena going to move out towards the field, play behind some of those hay bales. NC2 has to hop out. Joker actually crashes in further. Yeah, that's going to be in the zone. Sakura doesn't quite make the cross. They're down to 2, but he is going to bleed out. And there's an answer, double one coming through from out of the fields, threading the needle there. DRX with the zone pushing. They're going to have to move forwards, but I don't know if they have the time to get these reses on board. Lil Boy looking for the shots towards NT2, but the hay bales keeping him safe.
I mean, they're down now, but that double knockover towards DRX was phenomenal. I know Influence Rage immediately turns tail and will look towards guys on the south side. Really here is depending on who's getting the 2nd place, who gets that additional placement point. Pretty sure it should be Alliance. They've done a very good job to withstand DRX and these bounces, force them out of position. Now they're to the wrong side. If Alliance goes down, they'll just be happy getting some more of these elims on the side towards DRX. Diego finds a couple, but if not, he'll pick up at least one.
And there's that final player going down from DRX. They have not been able to get the crossing. Now it's 3 versus 4. Influence Rage. They had this sort of numbers advantage, but this time they've got the high ground as opposed to against the Arena in the last. But it's still Southeast Asia giving them a run for it. The Brazilians trying to hold their nerve this time, moving forwards. Federal with the pump action around the corner, looking for the nade to hobble out to the side. It does damage, but Diego's down in the meantime. There's a wall of fire coming through, but finally he lays down the wall, and just 1 player now remaining. Federal steps forward. He's given it a good go. The dance around the rocks. It's a 1v1 for the peak, but they will not be denied this time. Influence Rage with the forwards charge towards Alliance, take them, force them into 2nd place, and from a 2nd place, they launch themselves into a chicken dinner.
I felt like there was maybe a situation there where Alliance wins versus Influence Rage. There was a lot of whiff shots towards the end there. Influence Rage, it felt a little bit over-aggressive at times, but overall, very well played to Alliance. I think they could be super pleased with that ending. Even if they came 2nd place, they were popping off towards the end.
Oh yeah, beautiful stuff for Alliance. Big numbers being put up on the cards. The Arena, low eliminations means a minimal points earned this game. I think they only got 7, which is still a pretty good game. Don't get me wrong. But it's not maybe what they were looking for. That hold on the west side, a little bit too passive for them. Influence Rage helped out by the circle as well on their swamp side position. And they were able to keep their boots nice and dry, keep their heads on their shoulders, although they did get a little bit dizzy towards the end. They closed it out. And we're going to be closing out this game, heading back over to the desk as well to break down the proceedings of first area.
हाँ भाई धन्यवाद बोलने के लिए धन्यवाद भाई 100 सब्सक्राइबर से बहुत फास्ट हो गया 100 हो जाएंगे ना यार तो अच्छा हो जाएगा 100 सब्सक्राइबर के बहुत फास्ट है 91 हो गया है 9 और चाहिए अक्सर वैल्यू खेलेंगे ना खेले तो वैल्यू खेलते हैं अपन
Do Brazil! Influence Rage to lay down the law in this match one right here. That's how you do it when it comes to Aaron Gill. They had a good solid finish in Rondo, and then this last fight with Alliance. I'll tell you what, Law really had to do it there, right there towards the end. Beautiful pre-fires into the shotgun play. That's how you get it done, Max.
I was trying to find a way to do a pun with the other player names outside of Law, but I didn't have enough time. I didn't have time to prep. Influence Rage, very solid performance this time around. And you know what? They didn't have to fight it. They had that position really early on. They dropped Promost, northern side of Promost near the quarry area. Push up, they take the swamp area for themselves, and they just hold off teams. And you know what? When a circle keeps going your way, that's realistically all you really have to do to get the win. And in this case in particular, very well executed, double-digit eliminations here. Influence Rage can be super happy about this performance on Erangel.
Yeah, it's a really nice compound to actually have as well, right? Because it's so open on that northern side with those fields, so then it's overlooked also on the south side in Alliance's position. So actually, they were really protected just because of how open and how overlooking the positions of other teams were. That Influence Rage were able to just kind of hunker down, fend off teams from their immediate position, and just wait for that final zone. So really, really nice stuff coming in here. Some great stats we're seeing on the boards as well. I mean, Law only taking 17 damage for 4 eliminations is pretty crazy. Love that from him. Yeah, a really, really nice thing. They were able to conserve their energy for that final fight, and they were able to take the win. GG.
So far, it's been a great day for Influence Rage. They've had a second place going into the Rondo game, decent amount of eliminations, into now a chicken dinner with also a really good elimination count for themselves. Influence Rage, amazing logics, and Alpha 7 already been in the finals. They want to join the homies. They want to make it there in Bangkok for the grand finals, and you know what? They might just have the homies qualifying if they keep having games like what a banger right away.
The hermanos, that's right. The Brazilian brothers could make it happen. That's for sure. I mean, what a great start for this squad. Another great game for EA as well. They made it towards the end game in this one. 3 out of the last 4 squads all dropped in this particular location, so they didn't have to travel too far. Alliance did have to go all the way from farm, so they were the furthest team when it comes to that rotation. But man, to see 2 teams back to back, at least the top 2 squads kind of finish in the top 4 here, you got to watch out, Neptura, because those big point sponges can definitely create a big gap at the top for sure.
Yeah, very, very quickly. As we saw in Group Green, right, APG had one huge day and were never touched again, right? But it could be the same story here if these other teams aren't careful, that Influence Rage and EA could very easily run away with it. You're right, EA had a fantastic split on the western side. I really loved how they played that entire game up until the final push. I really wish they maybe had pushed Influence Rage a lot quicker, a lot earlier, rather than trying to go out for a northern rotate and a northern split. I just think that they had the perfect opportunity to do it. They were within nade range. They could have a lot of cover away from the other teams on the south side. So I would have loved to see that a little bit more, but otherwise really, really well played from EA.
I think the game plan was for them to just hope for the circle to shift away from the Influence Rage, but as we saw, never quite happened, and they were just forced into that position, and it just became an absolute neat grinded position that gave so many free eliminations over. So Influence Rage, but I think also Alliance versus the arena as we go through the replays of this game, and we're going to see Niptura. Tornado Siren was just hectic. It had 3 teams for the longest time in Weibo. It was Regnum to like how about we just work together? And we had a 12-player team on that position. It was crazy.
It was insane, right? I love that position so much. You can see here first, Weibo getting absolutely pummeled on both sides, and then Boar joining the conversation. Love the pivot that Flash made, actually. They were very, very quick to shift their attention from Tornado side to the back side of that area just to make sure Boars didn't do too much. Boars did get that win against them, but then immediately went out, and so then you had Accurate actually moving in, trying to do stuff, but WBG, that whole thing, just able to get them.
Leapfrog that position. Boom, easy pickup for Alliance. So Alliance not only able to secure eliminations off the back of that, in this case, 12 total eliminations, massive performance, but also able to secure a second place just barely ahead of TRX. So Alliance me quite a bit. Great position on the previous game on Rondo. This time around, the timing was on point, and they played until the right moment of this match. Hot Jukes, Alliance are genuinely impressing me so far in these two matches.
I love it. I mean, that's always a great part about PUBG Mobile. There's so many different ways you can win, right? I mean, you can play it, you know, kind of sneaky, passive, and then right when you get that opportunity, you pull the trigger. And Alliance did that. I mean, yeah, because we were talking about it, and you were like, yeah, dude, these guys are really playing this slow. But the second they saw that door open with DRX, they're like, all right, let's make it happen, and they did, right? So great decisions from all these teams. I'm definitely noticing, at least this compared to Group Green, and you can tell me if I'm wrong here, like when it comes to rotationally and fight timing, I feel like much more calculation from Group Red. I feel like Group Green would just be like, let's just gun out and take this team out with just our superior gun potential. But here, teams are very particular with their fights and shot placement. What do you think about that?
Group Green was like a little bit more demon mode, and now we're a bit more sophisticated. Nipturo was just like, how about we work together in this position?
Yes.
We don't have to fight, homies. And actually, it's been really working out greatly for some of the top squads. I would have to agree.
It has, for sure. One thing I do want to mention just really quickly, though, is Law, actually, because he's MVP of the Erangel, the first Erangel. Really nice stuff coming in from him. But no, one team I want to mention just really quickly, though, Jukes, and Max, is VP. A top team that had so much potential, because of how unpredictable they are, how aggressive they are. But I feel like right now they're not sure how to read the lobby. This particular lobby, this set of teams is proving very difficult for them on those rotations. They just keep getting blocked and interrupted in those rotations, so they're just not able to really find that position in circle. But yeah, they're going to be at the bottom of the leaderboards, but we want to look at the top right now because EA, Influence, and Alliance all up there, but the points are fairly close.
Yeah, they're close for now. That's only because we had 2 matches, but that's already a 15-point gap between 3rd and 4th place, Max, right? If we see, you know, these squads really run with another top finish in this game, it's going to be hard to catch them. That's what it comes down to, right? Whenever you get that good position, you got to put out a good game. And Influence Rage, they got blessed with that zone, but they put out some serious points, and that's how you get it done.
Now, you're saying hard to catch up, like which 2 games we still have we have 16 matches, guys,
which is true.
Fair enough. So like, you don't want to take it too late, but it scares me a bit for DRX because they barely missed out on the grand finals going into the gauntlet stage, so hopefully that's not going to repeat itself. They're looking at the bottom of the leaderboard. I really want to echo the point that was just made about Virtus Pro. So far, they're a very aggressive team, very aggro, willing to take any fight they see. But here, you just got to be a little bit more thoughtful of when you take your fights and how you take your fights and where you take your fights. And Virtus Pro, I think, might be a team that struggles because the lobby is playing very differently than what we had at the very start of this PMGC season.
I gotta agree. It doesn't help, especially when you have a pretty good solid position and all of a sudden 3 of your players just get naded and you're out, right, in game number 1. It's so difficult to bounce back from that mentality, right?
Yeah, that is true. I mean, I had totally forgotten about that, but that was a pretty nasty nade. That would knock the confidence of most teams, right? So I could see that maybe they just need a game or 2 to bounce back from that, but Virtus Pro, they're a team that have been there, done that. They're super experienced. I just hope in this next game we see a little bit more more from them. Maybe a little bit more adaptability. I just want to see them be able to pivot a little bit more. I will say I loved what they did. I forget who it was. Was it Akred in near Pachinki there with that first initial knock on rotation? I love how instant VP were to just block Akred from doing anything else, and actually Vostok just running him off and going out of here immediately. Get off my lawn, we're busy here, was really nice. I really enjoyed that from them. So they can do that. They can pivot really quickly. They just need to do that on a more macro scale.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about another engagement we saw this game, and I'm going to have to talk for the first time. We didn't talk about them too much, actually, this show so far for today. It's the side of True Rippers. They had a fight that they engaged versus, I believe it was onto Twisted Minds onto the staircase, and they kind of all funneled themselves in a very small area on those staircases. I want to see some changes in terms of how you engage fights. True Rippers, for me, that was just never going to work out in 1,000 years. I want them to see maybe try and secure off angles as you try and go for that initial engage, and then because if they do have off angles in Nitro, maybe 2 players south and 2 players on the staircases, I think they win that fight versus Twisted Minds pretty damn easily, but they all committed to such a small area that one spray just destroyed pretty much half the team instantly.
Yeah, that's often the case, isn't it? And I think especially in this lobby, we're seeing a lot of players, a lot of teams use those off angles. So it's definitely something you want to also use so you don't get left behind in terms of those fights, in terms of those CQC. So yeah, I really do agree that maybe just a little bit of a tweak there, just a little bit of a split is going to work wonders.
Well, let's hear from Law and the 7WG. Let's take it on over.
E depende dos outros times, a gente vai fazer o nosso e é isso, vamos ver o que acontece.
So yeah, we always have like a very good mindset. We always try to get first place. So we are always like playing group stage with a lot of passion. So yeah, we are super happy for these 2 results.
And this year, you guys have added Federal. He hasn't been a PMGC since 2023, but he does have experience at this stage. What has that done for the squad?
Então, vocês agora com o Federal no time, né? Ele estava longe da PMGC desde 2023. O que ele traz para o time, né? Experiência.
Acredito que o Federal, ele tem o individual dele muito forte, o poder de fogo dele. E também a tomada de decisão dele na partida. Ele é um jogador que consegue trazer muita segurança para a equipe. Assim como o Lohan também. Mas por uma escolha nossa agora, o Federal está melhor.
So Federal is a really experienced player. He brings a lot of like confidence for us during the matches and on stage. And Lohan, he's very good, but right now we are with Federal and like it's super good. Like they're both really good players.
Well, 2 games in, this team is performing absolutely insane. We already have 1 Brazil team in the grand finals. Influence Rage trying to make it too.
Mute कर दूँ क्या?
Yes, they are. They're pulling out all the stops right here. It's good to hear that from Law as well, you know, yeah. And it happens.
Okay, brother.
You know, switch up the team a little bit. You bring Federal in, an OG in the PUBG Mobile esports scene, and it is definitely working out for them. That's for sure here, Max.
It's just a matter of time before we get back into the Federal era, Hot Jukes. Okay, this is a player that, when it comes to...
Okay.
Recently for Alpha 7, but like Federal is usually...
Okay, अच्छा चल एक वादा करता हूँ मैं on stream
for that entire region. So
on stream एक वादा TR chicken मारेंगे मैं नाचे on stream वादा TR chicken मारेंगे मैं नाचे चाहे भी वो जोकर भाई का स्नोकर स्नैक का मरफा हो रिंकिया के पापा हो कुछ भी हो TR chicken मैं नाचे on stream नाचे
work a little bit more. I want to see those big rotations come through and then see what
next match 20 seconds में भाई
really good so far, Juke.
Next match 20 seconds में
they are, but there's some teams that need to start stepping things up. Virtus Pro, I'm looking at you.
20 seconds दो इवेंट दो मिनट बाकी है गाइस नंगा अरे पागल ही क्या
this one. My question is, John,
पागल ही क्या नंगा
what do you want the circle to
नहीं तो ना बोल रहा
For one, would love
है
right next to Everest over in the Gaka Fields. I think we haven't seen that one in a while. I think that's definitely where I want to go. No, to be real though, I feel like a Yaz Fields finish. We're kind of over.
1, 2, 3,
seen a couple of field finishes.
मिलिट्री बेस से ये जा रहे हैं स्टाइल पर प्लेन पास अपना यही है अभी साले
that or maybe the top of
वही कमेशी गई ना मिलिट्री बेस से कमेशी गई
Yeah, I think Yaz teams are pretty frustrated about that as well because we
मिलिट्री बेस से कमेशी के इधर जा रहे हैं
it's gone over there.
टीआर का ड्रॉप लोकेशन मिलता है हाँ मिलता ही है तो फार्म है ऐसे कुछ है टीआर का ड्रॉप लोकेशन
But it's one of those things where, yeah, I think we have
1 2 3
a
4
circle on that side of it. I personally do enjoy gas finishes. They are so unbelievable.
अबे मेरे को ना WBG का ना उतना अभी नहीं दिख रहा वो सुक और ऑर्डर उतना ठीक से नहीं खेल रहे भाई मेरे को चाहिए भाई डब्ल्यू सुक दिखना चाहिए तीर कमाड़ के साथ टक 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 वो चाहिए भाई सुक का देखने में मजा आता है सुक का देखने में मजा आता है भाई क्लास बहुत सही खेलते हैं बहुत सही खेलते हैं अब ये मैच से अपन एनालिसिस सारी करेंगे अपन अपना इसका टीआर का क्या गलती की है अबे जोन टीआर पे भाई जोन टीआर पे है जोन बन सकता है टीआर पे लेकिन जो टीआर के बाजू में एक टीम है टीआर के बाजू में टीम है टीआर के बाजू में टीम है टीआरएक्स
nuclear zone over towards eastern side, not power. Two strong starts. But for Alliance again around 5.
Okay, sir. G.
To get going.
G.
29 points it is. Very close to.
ये सब पूरा ये लोग तो टॉप पे चल रहे हैं लेकिन क्या 3 ही पॉइंट का फर्क है हाँ ये देखना 32-29 बस 3 ही पॉइंट का फर्क है पहले तीन में 3 पॉइंट का फर्क है बस
Sakura off that one game still leading with 11 total.
ए नहीं यार क्यों क्या हुआ भाई नेट किधर कितने गया
Yeah, that's. I mean, there's no way that that's getting toppled.
टीम चल रही क्या बराबर निकल
If Alliance do well again, but I think that might.
उनका हुआ है
Well, we'll see.
तेरा सही है
For a game.
ओके नहीं अब भी मेरा हुआ इधर
35 points, 32 points, 29 points. That is double difference. Doesn't even make the mark against Alliance, and they have really extended over.
उनका इशू है नहीं
It is just a lobby playing.
हाँ चलिए कोई नहीं भाई क्वालिटी तो बढ़ानी पड़ेगी ना क्वालिटी तो बढ़ानी पड़ेगी वो क्वालिटी को तेरा सही चल रहा है क्या हुआ है हाँ मैं भी क्योंकि मेरे को इधर फ्रेम रेट मेरा ड्रॉप नहीं है बिल्कुल भी मेरा बराबर चल रहा है उनके साइड से मेरे को लग रहा है कुछ प्रॉब्लम है उनके साइड से ही प्रॉब्लम है मेरे को भी वही लग रहा है चैट में देखना मुझे चैट में क्या उनको प्रॉब्लम आ रही है
Which is what makes things look so odd in terms
guys still only 2 match man
Rondo like towards the middle of the day where it's looks a lot more even. It's easier to tell which teams are doing quite well. I think
देखना क्या लिखा है इंडियन टीम्स इंडियन फैंस सारे क्या दल्ले लोग हैं क्या दल्ले लोग हैं साला सपोर्ट भी नहीं करते तुम लोग ठीक से क्या तुम लोग स्पोर्ट्स फैन बनोगे थे क्या स्पोर्ट्स फैन बनोगे तुम एटलीस्ट अपनी कंट्री की टीम गई उधर खेलने को तो तुम लोग एटलीस्ट सपोर्ट भी नहीं करते ठीक से उन लोग को इधर ट्रोलिंग उधर ट्रोलिंग ये ट्रोलिंग वो ट्रोलिंग तुम्हारा चालू रहता है टेक चैट बरोबर है उनका सर्वर में इशू है हाँ क्या है इंडियन फैंस है सपोर्ट करो ना भी उनको भले ओजी का लेकिन ओजी क्या खेल के गई है छाप छोड़ के गई है ओजी अपना दूसरी स्ट्रीम ऑन कर दिया मेरे को लग रहा दूसरी स्ट्रीम ऑन कर दिया उन लोग की ये वाली ऑन करता हूँ।
But you're in groups right now. Yes, you had the gauntlet, but you already had the gauntlet to try and find that balance, and that's something that should be acquired coming into your next stage.
चूतिया इंडिया फैंस भाई सच में यार। Jonathan achievement in global Pakistan
Coming into your next stage.
Jonathan achievement in global Pakistan whole population.
If they don't make it through in last chance, it is a pretty big shake-up. All things considered, because you had.
भाई वाह भाई यार दल्ले लोग हैं रे, बहुत दल्ले लोग हैं। ये यार टीआर वर्सेस गीक हो रहा है भाई। टीआर वर्सेस गीक हो रहा है। अबे लेकिन ये लोग स्प्लिट में खेल रहे, 2v2 स्प्लिट में खेल रहे। अरे नहीं यार, काय को टीम अगर स्लैमिंग किए तो आओ ना यार, क्यों उसको छोड़ रहे हो अकेला? फुकट का पॉइंट दिया इधर।
Not feeling that fear right now, not against ETSH.
We are 4 versus ETSH. फुकट का पॉइंट दिया है यार। एक का पॉइंट नहीं, एक कैजुअलिटी, फुकट की कैजुअलिटी गई है अपनी। भाई एटलीस्ट कवर फायर देते वहां से, कवर फायर भी नहीं आया अपना। फुकट यार, नहीं ये सब नहीं चलता। पैनिक हो गए, हाँ वही पैनिक ही हो गए। अरे लेकिन अगर 3v1 की स्प्लिट में भी खेल रहे तो इतना लंबा स्प्लिट थोड़ी ना, 200 मीटर का स्प्लिट।
Still up and kicking. Nate doesn't quite make it into the building.
क्या यार फुकट यार। ये भैया ETS शिवा, ETS शिवा गजब ना हो रहा था। इंडियन है क्या? लग रहा है इंडियन ही है।
Just love sitting in these third-party oversights, right? We saw it from the last game. And easy for bad boy.
इंडियन लग रहा है, ETS शिवा थर्ड पार्टी होने वाली है, ARC मारेगी।
So here, at the moment, everyone's kind of covered off. Shiva
ARC मार सकती है, ARC मार सकती है। मैक्स को साला, मैक्स को 63k की वॉचिंग आ रही है। हार का हाँ वही अरे मैं मस्ती में बोल रहा हूँ। मैक्स को 63k की वॉचिंग आ रही है, इधर 5 की वॉचिंग नहीं आ गई ठीक से। क्यों यार ऐसा मत क्या करोगे? टीआर रोलिंग कर रही है, टीआर रोलिंग कर रही है, टीआर रोलिंग कर रही है। क्या लगता है ये मेरे को लगा फूटा, मेरे को लगा फूटा, ये फूटा नहीं नहीं, ये भी बचा, ये भी बचा, ये भी बचा। 8 subscribers left for 100. Seriously?
For that lumberyard hill finish that I talked about at the start. Meanwhile, Boars still tensely held against ETSH. It's not been a pretty fight.
एक मिनट देख लो भाई, 91 ही हो गया अभी तो।
Middle of this circle. Shelter entrances now.
मेरे को तो 91 ही दिखा था।
They did lose a player earlier on as well, losing Silas.
होगा chill.
Can backseat game like no other.
91 ही दिखा रहा है।
A big brain on him, so hopefully he'll be able to deliver that information back on over.
लेकिन भैया मुझे 91 ही दिखा रहा है।
Sent their third-party tendrils out.
WBG Chinese team है, okay, WBG Chinese team.
They are still holding.
हो गए 92, हो गए 8 subscribers left, 8 subscribers left guys. आज करा दो यार, तुम सब लोग मजा आ जाएगा। ये पूरा 3-4 घंटे की स्ट्रीम में आज करा दो तो मजा आ जाएगा।
That they'll be safe for the time being. E-Arena late to the party on the west though, and they.
Regnum Kari in particular, it's a frustrating one because this is a difficult position.
आगे नहीं बोल सकता मैं,
not having players there does make your
क्या रोटेशन दे रहे? ऑल का इधर, ऑल तो पूरा इधर।
players though are capable of
ऑल के बंदे पूरे
It's just you don't really want to have to.
All star, all fluke. नाम भी तो बलता ही बलता.
Alliance sending a player out wide up the hill though. Try and scout.
ये बलता बलता बोल रहा है
Towards the wizard tower and have oversight down towards you. But right now should be okay. A little bit quieter. Again, I am really liking
TWIS
here in Group Red for a lot of our teams.
कुछ बन रहा है क्या जोड़ी में? WG हीरो. मेरे पास भी एक हीरो है मेरा टीममेट. बाहर खाओ टीममेट है मेरा. बाहर खाओ टीममेट हीरो. बाहर खाओ टीममेट. सारे टीम देख रहा है ना? हिम्मत है तो बोल. अगर देख रहा होगा तो हेलो नहीं देख रहे. लेकिन बाहर खाओ टीममेट से करना. बाहर खाओ. बाहर खाओ. ऐसे बोलते बाहर खाओ.
3 days left to go. And our next circle will again reveal more about the rotational proclivities of our circle teams, and it goes all the way up to the northwest. I mean, this is great for Influence Rage, right? It's great for Eerie.
अबे TRM से जोनी नहीं की है और इधर TWIS in zone, INF in zone, WBG in zone. तो अपना अपना रोटेशन लेना शुरू कर दिया.